Hello, beautiful friends, and welcome to this live edition, this YouTube session. It's always fun to do these because we're moving energy. I have clients or people that I coach sometimes or guide, and sometimes they come into these YouTubes and kind of tune in and connect with either the thing I'm talking about and gives them and it gives you a guidance in like releasing the mind, the understanding, daring to look at something in a different way. Or sometimes you just connect with the energy because everything we do talk about is energy. So when we have the experience of something, we hold an energy connection. So today I'm talking a little bit more about sexual energy, sexuality, and that is exactly kind of one way of looking at the body. You can look at the body in many different ways. We, but we still have to kind of understand both body and mind, or body consciousness, body soul. So, and to understand, like when some people focus on the body or yourself compared to others, like Tai Chi is more like a martial arts towards others, or like yoga is more like opening up your body, or spirituality. There's different ways of connecting, but everybody actually is like connecting with our body and our mind, our consciousness, opening up our different levels. So we still have, it's still there, even if some people don't talk about it, or if people talk about it in different ways. Like for me, understanding the simplicity of energy connection in the body gave me like it made life easier to accept, easier to enjoy, and easier to understand, like the awakening process. Awakening is so natural. We are already awake when we come into this earth, and then but we still have to go through like a maturation. Like we become a teenager, become an adult, we have a kid. All this stuff is like, through life you can go through an awakening process where like you are like 9 years old, and you kind of are like at peace with life. I've had clients that I've kind of guided that way, going through this is a little bit of a different, this is like kind of releasing energy and kind of connecting and more consciously, so that we can kind of create longevity in a different way. And then we kind of have to look at the masculine and feminine, which is sexuality. It's like kind of two sides connecting together. And like sexuality or sex is like easy to see that we have the masculine and we have the feminine. And then sometimes you see men sometimes are more like, you got the genitals that go outwards, so we are more like prone outwards, and the mind goes outwards, and it connects energetically outwards. That's why they also kind of like goes very mind. They can think very like sexually, and they can just look at pictures and just boom, you're sexual. It's a little bit of a disconnected sexuality. It's like a different one part of ourselves. It's like consciousness. And then we have like the feminine, which is more the feeling of sex. You have to, sometimes you don't just think sex, you are more like the energy of the female genitalia is like you kind of bring the energy in, and then you lock it, and then you kind of open up, and then you open up the breast. So it's like kind of like a physical embrace. So you want to feel more. So that's where like it's like opposite. It's like going inwards. So like in yoga, for example, you see people kind of like the man creates this to open the body and to kind of open the spine. Well, you're already kind of masculine connected, but everybody is kind of consciously awake when we wake up, when we get born, and then we have the body, which is more like the feminine in a way, in that matter. And then But then we need, if we are gonna like awaken more, like physically and heart, emotionally, and mind, we kind of have to like kind of connect all these strands, kind of, and see both masculine, feminine, all these areas, and we can see the masculine sometimes can be kind of very harsh and very hard, and it's like sex, which is like kind of pounding, and the feminine can just sound like sometimes feel disconnected because it's like what's going on, and they can pretty much just almost like get like an orgasm without any feeling, just boop, that was an orgasm. While the feminine is a little bit more like internal, kind of want to like feel it and move it internally. So both these sides are sexuality, and so if we are gonna awaken the body, then we have to dare to address both sides. So for the feminine, you can bring it up, but then the masculine brings it out. So we need both consciousness and the body. Hey, so we kind of need both sides. And this connection is like our energy body. It's like one way of looking at how we're moving energy. And when we kind of move through the masculine, we kind of bring energy out, the consciousness, and we move it up, and then the feminine inside. So in the hips, which is like our power, it can become like the man, just boom, I'm there, I'm connected, I'm powerful. And you can see the man is a lot of times like strong, and they do like moving, and they're like good at it, while the feminine is a little bit like the energy is pulled in. So when it's like in, it's not in the arms and legs, so it's more pulled in, and sometimes that can feel like weaker. Still, you can see some women that are really strong or like good at athletes, physical exercise, and you can see men that are like not, and they're, so you have feminine masculinity and masculine femininity. So everybody's like different. So when we bring in all these different techniques that is out there, it's easy to just think that man, women, they work in one way, but actually like you have to kind of go and look at every single body. And that's where it gets interesting, because then you can really start to see like, where are we connected more masculine, feminine, in our hips, in our emotions, in our mind. So then, the women, the feminine hips kind of needs maybe like more to bring it out, more the power, while the man needs to bring it in more, reel it in. While in the heart, sometimes the women have already opened the heart very much. But the other side of it is like kind of the hidden heart, the feminine heart, which is more the wounded heart sometimes, because that we still have a lot of energy stuck in our system from our ancestors, our parents. We kind of we open up all these gates already before we're like aware, kind of, we're like just open, soaking in the universe, soaking in our atmosphere, our surroundings, whether we kind of like adapt and copy our parents, or we kind of go to the opposite and become like opposite of our parents. Both as like the duality, the sexual and the duality of having a body, of having relationships. We either go in the same or we go in the opposite. So we are all in these different connections, and we kind of have to like understand our individual connection to stuff. So we kind of, in the heart, we still have to kind of look at that wounded heart, the withdrawn heart, which is more like the man, it withdraws kind of more. And then, in the mind, you can be very like engaged, open sexually, like the man, but then other times you withdraw, so you can like be the masculine different ways in the mind. And the feminine is kind of like withdrawn, so that's why it can handle the masculine. That's why men and women sometimes work good together, but also sometimes why you sometimes you are more connected to your girlfriends or your guy friends, your bros or your whatever. So we have all these different connections because we're connecting with people in different sexualities of our body. But when we realize these connections, we can bring them back into a conscious, connected space with our body and start like bringing balance to our hips, to our power, to our emotions, and to our mind. And in that way, we can bring in a knowing where we feel like we are connected to ourselves and not connected to our kids or our parents or our husband or our wife or our friends. We are, because when our energy in our body is all kind of put out there, we are still feeling that we get affected by what happened to others. We're not holding our own energy. When we become more peaceful with our own self and our own energy body, we can become peaceful with the essence of ourselves. So that is like the path that I'm kind of talking about. In Tai Chi, it's like a martial art. A lot of these teachers become too focused on the surroundings, about fighting them. Yoga, like meditation, can sometimes be too focused on yourself or your own body. There's all these like extremes, but then everybody can intuitively love to do something, but then we have to have the balance of seeing, are we engaging with something in a masculine way or in the feminine way, or like we are all kind of connected to more traditions than one. We have some sports we've done, we have some spiritual traditions, we have school, we have friends. To see our life, then gradually we can become the ease of life. We can enjoy the life that we're living, and we can enjoy, which is the feminine. We're kind of allowing ourselves to embodify the body. We're like allowing ourselves to become the feeling. But then we need the masculine, or the consciousness, who accepts our surroundings and becomes one with ourselves as well. So we return to that kind of soul or that essence where we can kind of walk around being at peace with life or at ease with life. So that's what I call the ease of life. And that sexuality is very fun to discover because it connects with your parents, it connects with your kids, it connects with your friends, it connects with your society. We have all these layers, and your ancestors, all this stuff we kind of have been carrying on different layers. And when we dare to like unravel these layers, then we can start to like connect with it, and more we can become, we're almost like swimming in energy because our whole body is like connected, it's open. Kind of like the feminine, it's feeling too much, but it's not feeling too much. When you're grounded in something, you're feeling, but you're also letting go. So, sometimes men is like, I don't think at all. What do you think? I don't think at all. He's like disconnected, grounded. But the woman is like, I feel everything. You need both sides. You need to be able to feel, but you also need to let go. So we are in that duality, sexuality, sexual energy, consciousness, body, soul, body, being. And that's what I'm teaching. So it's a lot of words, and understand that this is, some people listen to my words, and sometimes you just tune into the energy that I'm emitting in these talks. So everybody's different, and that's the beauty of it. For some, the connection to the body comes later. You understand more of the words. For others, the connection to the words comes later, and you're more connected to the feeling of it. So just allow yourself to go the path you're going. Both sides need to kind of interact for us to kind of come into a body being, which I'm kind of teaching. It's not just the mind, it's not just an awakening, it's like levels of awakening. And when you start daring to like not needing to be too much of a teacher, too much of a student, or too much of any traditions, then you can step into your own life and dare to just harness this life. So that was a little bit of what I was talking about today. I'm glad for the people that show up. It is always fun. Hey to you guys. Fun that somebody says hi. And thank you for all the donations. It's fun when people say, this really helped me. And some people was like, wow, I really needed some support. And some people need to reach out and say hi. And we do a one-on-one. Other people be like, wow, I listened to your YouTube and I felt a release, and they just give a donation instead. So it's fun to be of service, and thank you for daring to trust and listen. This is a little bit new, a little different, and we're just going here and opening up this kind of beautiful wisdom. This feminine tradition is kind of hidden in this world because all of consciousness, all of the world is more masculine. So most traditions are more masculine oriented. The feminine sides are there everywhere, but it's like hidden sometimes. It's not the stuff writings on paper. It's usually more talked from teacher to student. It's living, and that's kind of, but consciousness, life, the world is changing. We're coming into allowing the feminine part in, and that's where the body can really start to rejuvenate and bring in a whole different beauty to spirituality, so, and relaxation. So great talking to you guys. Check out my other chats too if you have the possibility, or check out my Instagram. I do posting there, and I wish for you a great day onwards, and I'll talk to you next time.